Půda je všude kolem nás, to znamená, nedovedu si představit, že by někdo řekl, že nemá vztah k půdě.
For me it's very fascinating system that from stone, just stone, with all that natural influences and that organic material, something like soil can be created.
I got excited about soil once I understand that that's where, for me, everything connects. It's where life starts, and it has a big influence on the climate and on the planet's health and on our personal health as well. And I think it's great that you can work with something so graspable and have at the same time a big influence on your surroundings.
The soil is the basis of all our food production, and it is the key asset of any farm.
It's the home for all that plant species, so I think I'm really connected to plants, and so I'm obvious also connected to the soil.
V tomto videu uvidíte několik odborníků a odbornic, kterých jsme se ptali na to, jak můžeme my, zemědělci, naší prací s půdou pomoct zmírnit dopady klimatické změny na našich farmách.
Čím je teplota atmosféry teplejší, tím mají ekosystémy větší problém fungovat v tom svém přirozeném módu a ta schopnost půdy v teplejším klimatu je samozřejmě potom nižší pohlcovat skleníkové plyny. Asi nejvýznamněji záleží na tom, jak se budeme k té půdě chovat my jako člověk, jak ji budeme zpracovávat, jestli opravdu budeme pořád používat umělá hnojiva, která jsou bohatá na dusíkaté látky, které potom utíkají do atmosféry jako skleníkové plyny a podobně.
If we look at the field here in the back, it's a very wide field. It's always the same kind of soil situation, and soil diversity is also a key asset in building resilience to climate change.
Důležité je se vracet k nějakým přirozeným mechanismům, které by té půdě umožnily se přirozeně chovat a přirozeným způsobem odebírat a ukládat do půdy části skleníkových plynů, které potřebujeme odebírat z atmosféry.
Carbon comes from the atmosphere, and plants through photosynthesis they can convert it into sugars that then are pumped into the soil by the roots, and those sugars are very helpful for other beings to be consumed there. And ideally, if there's like a good active soil life, then this will be stored in some kind of microbiota in the soil. And that's also the most stable carbon. Soil is one of the largest sinks of carbon globally. There's a lot of potential to store more carbon, but I think a lot of the potential is theoretical, and it's very difficult to actually ensure long-term storage of carbon in the soil in practice.
Think about what kind of climate change challenges you have that affect your soil. For example, wind is something that most people underestimate the effect of. But that's actually quite a stressor that really dries out your fields in summer when it's already quite hot. And that's where, for example, a hedgerow would be really beneficial. I suggest really just to understand what problems do I have on that side and then to find tree solutions to it.
Zemědělec může ovlivnit, a to významným způsobem, jakým způsobem se potom chová voda, když už dopadne na zem. To znamená, že pokud ta krajina je v pořádku, pokud máme dobře udělanou orbu, ne po svahu, ale kolmo ke svahu, tak vody se v krajině té zemědělské zadrží více. V okamžiku, kdy potom se vyskytne z hlediska srážek nějaká suchá perioda, tak ta půda se udrží déle ve vlahém stavu, pokud zadržela větší množství vody. Pokud ta půda už před tím suchým obdobím veškerou vodu prostřednictvím meliorací nebo jiného opatření dostane pryč, tak v okamžiku, kdy nějakou dobu neprší, tak ty škody nebo problémy zemědělské přicházejí dřív a jsou významnější. Takže zemědělec může ovlivnit to, jakým způsobem na něho dopadají suchá období.
I think one of the best things is really to have a lot of permanent vegetation on the ground. So if you're able to, then do agroforestry, plant hedges, because they are really like the pumps that nobody has to engineer anymore. They pump the carbon out of the atmosphere and they store it for us. Varied landscapes where we integrate a lot of permanent vegetation. And then also don't try to disturb the soil too much. There's a very intricate ecosystem under our feet, and I think those beings know really well what they're doing, and we shouldn't disturb them too much.
The other option is to use charcoal as a solution, because charcoal is able to fossilize CO2. So plants just fix it, and that is nice, but when it comes to compostation and so on, everything goes back to the atmosphere. And with charcoal, we can really fossilize it for long periods of time.
Trees play a vital and key role in adapting to climate change. The main CO2 sequestered is in the trunk of the tree. But of course a big part of it is also underneath in the soil, which is where it also stays and decomposes into humus and other things.
To look at it in detail, it's quite scientific, but you can, for example, look at some indicator organisms like earthworms that then feed on a lot of these other organisms, and they're a great indicator. Usually if the soil life is healthy, you will have a lot of earthworms.
One of the key points in using trees in an agricultural landscape is, I guess, shade. So the shade is quite a powerful tool to protect from a changing climate, and especially if we have high droughts or long times of sun exposure. That is not great for most plants. A lot of plants actually tolerate quite a bit of shade, which is not what we commonly think. That is a great chance to actually reduce the overall stress factors that come from outside.
Pokud většina zemědělců, nejenom v České republice, ale řekněme v celé Evropě, se bude k půdě chovat lépe, než se k ní chová teď, a ta půda bude zadržovat větší množství uhlíku, než ji zadržuje teď, tak pomohou k tomu mitigačnímu úsilí lidstva.
So in terms of improving your soil, thinking about carbon definitely makes a lot of sense, and I think everyone should do it.